In fact, I'll just keep the camera off and it just means that we can focus on the actual webinar. So good morning, everyone. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the power of automation in your spiritual business. I'm going to go through some basics and some of the things that you should consider when not just, starting up your business, but to grow your business, particularly if you are focusing on more an online business. I'll be covering different things, but I'm going to be talking about why automation can save you time, energy, and help you make money. And at the end, I will be taking some questions. And through the session, I might ask for some feedback for anyone that's on the Zoom, if anything is relevant. So I have been running you could say a holistic and a spiritual business for 22 years and always had an online component for a variety of reasons. So it's something that I have studied, over a long period of time. And as someone that had just to do with the disabilities I had and health challenges, I had a very, very low marketing budget when I first started my business. And I was starting my business after being predominantly very sick for 7 years and, not having a job. So I was in a situation where I had to think more cleverly. And one of the things that I realised along the way, because particularly of my health challenges and things would happen that could knock me back, was how powerful and how important it actually was to have some of my business automated. So let's look at, the power of automation, right? So when you automate some of your business, right, or a lot of your business, it can save you a lot of time. Now, sometimes people get put off by the setup process of certain software. But the reality is today, the software that most of us use to save time and energy and things like that is so intuitive. It's not like what I had to use 22 years ago, where sometimes it was actually coding and everything. There was a lot of things you had to do. But today, people want, no matter if we like it or not, people want things at the press of a button. And people are in a sort of a very, I suppose, strange concept over time. And we tend to try and fit in a lot of things in a day. So for the consumer perspective and the business owner, you want to be doing things that makes it easy for your customer and for you. So when you set up processes and software that saves you time, it can reduce your anxiety and stress, right? Because it's something that's automated. It's something that's actually taken care of that you don't have to worry about. So that saves you energy, because once it's set up, most things continually work. They work for you. So it's about thinking smarter than working harder, right? And often, most holistic and spiritual businesses are so spiritual and are so about being of service. It's not about the money. They're just so focused on supporting other people and helping them that it can take a lot of time in your week to not just do the things that you need to do for your business, but, to your own inner growth. We all know in the holistic and spiritual sector how much investment in time and money we make in our own development, in our own spiritual development, our own inner growth, and in learning skills. So that takes up a lot of time and money. So often time and energy is really, really important. And today, unfortunately, if you're not spending a lot in certain advertising, you're probably using social media, and it can take up a lot of your time. We're going to talk about that as well, how you can really save time in your social media. Okay, so automation saves money, right? Because when you do things and you have to keep repeating those tasks, you're losing money where you could be doing something else. And in many ways, it can make money because it can make it easier for your audience, for your consumer, and it feels like a smoother process for them, and it gives them trust that you actually are professional and that you're serious about your business and you take their needs into consideration. Now, particularly automated lead magnets, which I'm going to be talking a little bit about as well, that these help you directly make money, and these get people on your email list. And again, it's instead of you having to message people, send emails, all these type of things, which can actually take up so much of your time. And often the consumer, if they have questions that are not answered, even just replying to them can take up a lot of your day. So the more that you can have things automated and they can find certain information easy, that's what makes a business more professional. And it nurtures that trust and confidence with your audience a lot quicker. Because I'll give you an example. So I'm someone who's invested very highly in the holistic and spiritual sector. And I don't want to have to private message someone about certain questions when I'm trying to choose, because it's one of those things that when you are trying to basically, how could you say, when you're trying to, I suppose, get that connection and you're trying to get information as an audience, right? There's the difference. There's some things you just don't want to message the person because you maybe don't quite know yet if they're the right person. You don't want to feel awkward if you have to say, no, that's not really what I'm looking for. So some people in the initial stages, when they are looking for someone, they're trying to get a feel and they want different information. And the more that that's automatic or easy to get, or the more that you have maybe a lead magnet or a way for them to make an appointment that suits them instead of them private messaging you, it just makes it a lot easier for the person. And it, as I said, it makes it feel for the audience that you actually take your business seriously, right? And you're professional about it. So that when people feel something's more professional and that someone's taking what they do seriously, it initially gives more trust, right? Now, if you have things automated, and for example, as I said, lead magnets or information that they can get quite quickly, it can nurture quicker sales conversions, because again, to do with, unfortunately, this instant gratification, sometimes people are just looking for that solution right away. They may not buy the solution right away, but they want the information right away and they want to sign up, and then maybe they're away doing something else. And for example, you can have a website, but if people find your website and there is no way for them to sign up with something and get information they're looking for right away, they can forget about you, because there is so many things that people have in their minds. And often when people are searching for things, they have a lot of choice. So it's really, really important. Okay. So don't worry if you have to shoot off or anything, there will be a recording. But obviously, if anyone who comes on, if they want to put your questions in the chat, even if I don't get answering your questions, well, you're on, I will answer at the end of the session. Okay, so what can and should you automate in your spiritual business? So every spiritual business is different. Every holistic business is different. And that can be the type of business that you run, how you run it, even your beliefs and what's important to your business and to your audience. But some of the things that I think you can and you should automate in your spiritual business, and I'll talk about each and some of the reasons, the huge benefit of that. So as, for example, social media posts. I use a thing called Social Bee. Now, Social Bee, I have to be honest, is more a really professional scheduler for people that have, it tends to be used by agencies, by like someone that was managing a lot of different social media posts, pages. I have quite a few pages. I have more than I have about 4 pages. In fact, I have actually 5 or 6, but I don't really do much with them now. So that's social media pages I have for different facets it's been in my business through the years. I needed something, it was really automated, and I wanted something. I've tried so many different schedulers, and there's a lot of schedulers that are really good. Most of them you do have to pay, but there is some that you can set up for free, and you might only get 1 or 2 on that type of free account, but for what a lot of yous need, it's ideal. But if you can schedule your posts, not just on Facebook, obviously Facebook has its own scheduler, right? But there is some things that you can do in other schedulers that you cannot do on Facebook, right? So I'll give you some examples of Social Bee, and there is different types of schedulers that have some of these things. But the reason I chose Social Bee was it allowed me to set up content and then it rotates, right? So I am lucky, I have a lot of content. I've been in business for a long, long time, and I've been in offering holistic and spiritual business advice for over 10 years and went into really more the spiritual marketing side. I think that's over 8 years. So I do have a lot of content. And also my main business was stress management, and I studied all sorts of things, holistic well-being, counselling, psychology. I was the never ever learner. So I have different sides, and I again have a lot of content. I have sites, lots of blogs, and lots of different freebies and courses. So I'm never short of content. I just didn't have the time to keep posting them all. So I always did use schedulers, but the Social Bee one, for example, let me rotate. And what that meant was I could set up categories and say, right, okay, this is my blog category. This is my video category. This is my tips. This is my freebies. This is, I think what else? This is my courses or programs. And also you can have other categories, which might be seasonal, like Christmas, Easter, whatever. And what that means is that you can, when you have some spare time, or you can get someone else to do this as like a VA, you get them to add it to the scheduler. And what the Social Bee one, for example, does is I can set on, say, for example, Monday at 10 a.m, I want such and such a category to go out, and it takes one of those posts and it posts it. And I can rotate it, and it can actually repeat the posts. Now, Facebook doesn't really like it repeated completely, but what all I do is, the way it's designed, I can copy, and then I just tweak, just go in and slightly tweak it, right? And I can easily get a VA to go in and change some of the titles, the wording in it, over and again, swap the categories. So say I might change and say, right, okay, I don't want Monday as that category, I want something else. These are the kind of things that some of the schedulers do. They're all different. But the main thing about what you want is that when you're busy and you've got other things to do, you have content going out that is keeping your future audience engaged, and also keeps your present audience engaged. Sometimes people are so focused on the future audience, the future customers, they're not keeping the present customers satisfied. So when you've got content going out, it doesn't matter, even if you were only putting 3 posts a week, you've got that scheduled, and you can give yourself space. And you may, so what I like to do now is I don't put too much in. I do have a lot of posts that get scheduled, to be honest, because I'm busy. But I still have enough space that if I want to share something from something else, or I want to just put a post directly on Facebook, I can, right? Now, another one is social media messengers. You can use many different types of chatbots now. I have to be honest, mine are switched off now. It's a bit of a story, but one of the companies, I didn't agree some of the ethics and values, something, an email that came out recently that kind of really, my core values, it really kind of rocked me what they were telling me to do. So I disbanded my chatbot, but there is lots of chatbots, and I'm in the process of changing the chatbots that I use. So what is a chatbot? A chatbot you can set up in social media that it actually, when someone basically messages you now. Facebook does it now, for example, and there is different, I think there's different platforms that do it now, but basically it's like people come on and ask the questions. As soon as people tries to send you a message or wants to be on that message, to be informed of a newsletter, they've got all these options, and it'll say, is it a newsletter, is it a question, what is it you're looking for? So it means that when you're busy and I know that I cannot see all my messages because I've got all these different pages and I can't always see the messages, and I'm obviously busy. That means that the person can get the information quite quickly, know where to go to directly, but you've also got inside your messenger the information, right? And they're all different rules now. There was a wee change with the GDPR, but they're really good for being time efficient, okay? But even if you use your automation part in your messenger, it is really good, because particularly if you know what most people ask when they private message you in your business pages, if you've got that automated, again, it can save a lot of time. Unfortunately, also, we can get a lot of time wasters. You can get a lot of people spamming inboxes, people looking for all sorts of freebies. I get all sorts of people from a lot of third world countries, and it's a shame, but they're always asking me for free. They want to join my courses for free, and I offer lots of free things, but this is for big accredited training. And and I got a lot of messages and a lot also time wasters. So when you have something like this, it's easy because they're having to answer certain questions or press button what they're looking for, and it can make a big difference, right? Another thing that you should have automated is your calendar, as in a scheduler to do with your calendar. I use Calendly at the moment. I'm actually looking at some different ones just for different reasons, because I use a platform, and I'm going to be talking about this, New Zenler, for lots of things, and they're using more embedded calendars. So I'm looking at other things just for a variety of reasons. But there's so many different types of schedulers you can use. And if you don't have a high turnover and you don't need your scheduler to do a lot of things, again, there is some options. It's free. I have so many different facets to my business that mine is not free, but I use the Calendly one. And basically what I can do with Calendly means that I can have lots of different things set up. So I can, for example, if people want to book a chat about my accredited training, they can book a 30-minute chat to have a chat with me to see if it's the right course for them. I can also chat with my students. I have a section where students need to maybe book their assessments or accreditation or whatever, assignments or anything like that. They can book with that. I've also, obviously, for clients who want to come on my programs and different things, and maybe one-to-one sessions. So it does all that. And again, what's good is Calendly, you can set it that they get a mobile reminder. They get an email reminder, and a lot of you, particularly coaches, will often have a lot of people who don't turn up for whatever reason, which is again really annoying, and especially when you're trying to manage your time or they're late and things, where if you have something that is automated, it can make a difference. What also Calendly does is you can actually charge for things through it. So if you were offering one-to-one sessions and you don't need all the hassle of getting the payment off them, when they book it, there's an option that you can add that you charge for things, and there's things that can be free. And you can also put your terms and conditions, which can make a huge difference. Again, if you get people are time wasters or people that cancel and then they just expect to be able to book, you without, and I've had people in the past who maybe bought something from me and then they still think that they can get that session 3 months, 4 months, and I'm really busy at that point, but it might be in a special offer or something. So it's good to have these types of things. Other types of automation are what we call call to actions on your website, call to actions on your social media. And basically that's a way that someone can get something and information. A lot of it is what we call lead magnets, and lead magnets are basically freebies that help nurture your audience, help them to get to know you, that you're the right person. It's almost like they're sampling some of your work to see if you are aligned. you know, when we do a training or we set up in business, it's easy for us to think, you know, this is who my ideal client is, and because I do this, this, and this, and I'm experienced, But you've got to understand from the consumer's perspective, there might be other things that you've not considered. And often when they sign up for lead magnets, and lead magnets that are done really well and aligned with the audience, can help, again, build that trust. So call to actions increase conversion, and they save you time from, again, sending lots of messages back and forward. So, for example, I have a lead magnet for my accredited relaxation, and it's a wee bit different from a normal lead magnet, just for a variety of reasons. But I decided that I would do a 5-day free course about my actual training, because there was so many different questions people had about it. So in that lead magnet, people can, when they sign up, they're not getting the information all at once. They're getting it over the 5 days, and it goes into, you know, why I offered this course, and what I go into, all the different things that they learn, you know, what the accreditation covers, you know, again, to different things about what kind of careers, what they can use it for, and why I do things a certain way. So they're understanding my perspective on the training, and what, and maybe who the course is for and who it's not for, so I'm not wasting their time as well. So these are all things that are worth thinking about. Now, another one that you should have, you know, and this really should be a must, is your emails. As much as you can, have your emails automated in your newsletters. So what do I mean by that? So, for example, I have monthly lives for my students and I have Q&As. So it's really good when I can get that automated as much as possible, and have time to sit my bit every month and say, right, okay, these emails have got to go and what happens, that means that the students, so say for example, something goes out a week before that live is running, it reminds them, they know. I also have set up where it's like I have a page that they can see all the dates for the training, but they get that email that reminds them, okay, it's this Friday, or it's this and then they register for the live or whatever. But it keeps it automated, so it means no matter what happens, if I'm unwell, or something happens in my family, or something else I've got to deal with, that is already organized to go out, right? And again, you're not, because what you do, even automations, you can have students that start private messaging for this and that, and it eats up your money, it eats up your time. Anything eats up your time in your business can disable your business, because sometimes people are very naive. They're just thinking about the problem that they have or the information. But the more that you can automate everything, and they're all getting the information that they need, it makes it easier for you, right? And you've got less other things, and you're less distracted. And as I said, if you spend time each month getting your automation sorted out, it becomes easier and easier. And the great thing about it is that once you've done it, you can get people to actually do it for you, right? And the key here is getting people with the skills that are able to do these things. But when you have people that have the skills, they can just do all that, set it up, and it makes a big difference, okay? Now, newsletters, again, sometimes I'm chasing my tail with my newsletters, and I do it in the morning and it goes out, but I try most of the time to have it pre-done or half done and automated, so it goes out at a certain time. Because also when you do automation, you can get to see, particularly newsletters and things and emails, when are people most likely to open, particularly if it's sales emails or newsletters, because sometimes people just don't open them. It's just because of the time or the day that your email went out, and then the weeks went busy, their inbox is full, and they just don't get round to it. But if it's a particular day, particular time, there is certain people that are most likely to read it. And sometimes it's when you use automation software, you can see, it will show you when people are opening up, and give you more information, which can make a huge difference, okay? One of the biggest things, I think, is, again, people, it's always about time, but also if you do it the right way, you can copy. So say, for example, What I often do is just have the same template or just copy another email I've done or a newsletter and just slightly tweak it, and it saves time, right? But it's part of the automation process that you're making it easy. Now, is anyone so far got any questions? Feel free to, you can speak or you can put it in the chat. I think everyone's actually gone. Anyway, maybe I've been on too long, but anyway. So the lead magnets and sales funnels, okay? So lead magnets are what converts, obviously lead magnets are what we call usually freebies, and lead magnets are basically ways of building your email list, but it's also a way for you to nurture your audience towards buying a product. Many people make the mistake, they just go out and try and sell a program or sessions, but they've not done that nurturing, they've not gave someone the chance to try out, to see if it's exactly what they're looking for. So lead magnets and sales funnels are great ways to get people on your email list, and they're a great way to nurture better trust and connection, get them to really feel and know and you know, and sense that you really are what they were looking for. So that's why it's really good. And also when lead magnets and sales funnels are done the right way, actually it doesn't feel as if they're being sold. It just feels as if you're taking them along a natural pathway. There's nothing feels awkward for the customer. It feels more ease for the customer. And that's what it's all about, is making things feel at ease, right? Now, of course, if you've got courses and things like that, it's good to have automation. Again, emails going out saying when the next live is or the next session is, or maybe updates, and you've got it all set out. Particularly if you run self-study courses, everyone's starting at a different time. So if you've got automated emails that start out when they've bought the course, and that means you get the email that tells them where to get the content or has the content in it. You then have updates and other things that they need to know or will helpful. Again, these are all nurturing, okay? So anything in a course or a program, automation is really, really important, okay? And it really, as I said, it supports the student, it supports the client, it makes it easier for the client, they're getting the information, they don't have to keep messaging you, contacting you, or be confused about where to find certain information. And also it often encourages the student and client to complete something. Many people buy things but never complete them. But if you have a good nurturing process, you help your audience and your clients by encouraging them to complete it, because it's reminders. So there's lots of benefits for you know, moving through this process, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check that there's no questions. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to just check there's no questions in the, what do you call it, the Facebook chat. We'll just hold on at the moment. I'm just going to stop this share and we'll go back to the share in a minute. I'm just checking the, oops. Just going to check to see if there is any questions in the group. One of the things that often, you know, people think about automation, you know, it's very complicated. You start with the most things, the biggest things first, okay? So, okay, so you buy and you never complete. I would like to know how to set up newsletters. So you can actually set up newsletters through Newsendler. You can do it through MailChimp. Now, I don't use, you'll notice in the Stress Coach training, I used to use MailChimp. I only use Newsendler. The reason I've always used MailChimp, to be honest, for the Spiritual Marketing Club, because the Spiritual Marketing Club is a marketing business. Aesthetics is really, really important. I'm teaching marketing and I wanted it to look nice. I have to be honest, though, my prices are going up and up because of my mailing list on MailChimp. And it's not just doing a lot of things that I want to do. And I'm considering going back to using Newsela. They've not got templates like MailChimp. They are going to be working on that. So I have been looking at, yeah, I've signed up for MailerLite before as well, and for a lot of people love MailerLite. I can't remember the reason why I stopped using or I tried it out. I have considered going back to MailerLite. I think it's just because of how many sign-ups you can get in pricing, but there's different reasons. When you're looking for an automation and newsletter, what you've got to consider is you've got to consider things like, sorry, I forgot, I didn't see my camera was on. Sorry. So what you have to do is consider the main thing when you're signing up for a newsletter. Sorry, I've caught my nail in my hair. You have to think about, right, who's my audience? What do my audience need and want, right? What's the purpose of my newsletter? What kind of information am I going to be sharing out, right? I'm simplifying a lot. I share a lot in my newsletters, but certainly Spiritual Marketing Club, I've been getting more and more simple because I just can't keep up with trying to give it as much away. So I usually share videos, blogs, everything. And it is a lot. Some people only put a newsletter out once a month. So you have to think, it's like anything in business, what does your audience want and what do they need, right? What they're going to be interested in. And then from there, you decide on what type of automation you need. You want something that is going to work with your business needs. Some people just buy the cheapest automation, but they don't plan out what's going to work. Now, one of the good things about some of the types of automation is you can segment it. So what it means is you can tag categories, and if people, say for example, have someone sign up for branding, and they're really interested in the archetypal brand and stuff, and then have someone else that's only interested in the sole purpose stuff, and so they can be completely different audiences, right? And you can segment it, means then, so if they're signing up to be on your list, you send them things that are more likely to be appropriate to their sign up. So there's lots of, so when a lot of the automation, email automation offers different things, it does do that in Newsela. So I know, Adette, you've got Newsela, and that does, so you're not having to add anything. As I said, it's just the design is limited, but what you can do is you can add like a header banner, you can add graphics. It depends on what it is. I realised the stress coach training, there was no need for really fancy information. People just wanted to get access what they wanted. The marketing was different. Spiritual Marketing Club, I attract a lot of high creatives. People are artists, psychiatric artists, or women that are highly creative, and aesthetics are really, really important to them. So I've always tried to keep that a bit, but it's, if you put a banner on it, a nice banner, you can get round about that. So I'm just going to check to see if there's any other questions. To see. Tracy, good question. So can I ask if you feel that the scheduling social media content using a scheduler will affect the algorithms, i.e. how many people see the content? I currently use Buffer scheduling content. Now, yes, it can, Tracy, right? So Facebook does prefer you sharing the content straight on, right? But if you have more than, say you had Twitter, you had Instagram, and you had something else, it's a lot to share it. So what you have to do is weigh up. That's why it's good to share not just all scheduled content. It is good to share other people's content. Now, where many people go wrong is they schedule everything and they never share anyone else's content or anything in on the post. You should always share other content. And I have to be honest, yeah, maybe there's an odd week goes by and I've maybe not actually posted directly on my pages, and that can impact it a little bit. But I'll be honest, one of the things a lot of holistic and spiritual businesses are finding that the algorithms are extremely low. I mean, I've been in groups and I've seen people who have like 50,000 people in their groups and have got like hundreds of thousands of followers and hardly getting any engagement on the pages. So it's not just, so don't just assume because you're so using another scheduler that is what the reason. It could be a variety of reasons, but of course it can, because it is a third party. So it's about using it, it's about thinking it through. And for example, if it's all about looking at what you can do and what you should do, right? And it's better for people that really run out of time. It's better having some content that's posted by a scheduler than hardly anything on their posts or anything that's relevant, right? And some of us, so for example, I have a lot of my audience in the spiritual marketing club and stress coach training are coming from different countries, and they're all in different time zones. So I try and put the content out some of it in slightly different times and days. And again, some of those times I'm busy, or I'm, with something else, or I'm sleeping or whatever. So for example, things like Twitter, I use my schedulers for Twitter. I also use Tailwind for Pinterest. Now, the reason I do that is because I'm a big blogger, and I get most of my traffic and most of my audience not through social media, is the way most people would look at it. I get it through Google organic searches. A lot of my self-study courses and things like that are all bought through organic search, right? So for me, Pinterest is great for bloggers. Pinterest is great for Google traffic. So I use Tailwind, and basically that is like you automate your pins. It can do lots of things. I'd have to do a full session on that. But for me, it is really worth it. The only thing the problem I've had with Tailwind is it does take a bit of time up. And I have a lot, I have a lot on it. So it means I can do lots of things. I've not been able to maximize the use of it because most of the people I've hired to do the work have not really been specialized in that area. And I felt I've had to spend more time trying to train them up, and they still don't understand what they're doing. I think it's not just in what I found the biggest challenge with me particularly, and I know that this won't be an issue for most of you, is so spiritual marketing is very, very unique, and archetypal marketing with a spiritual, I do something that's very, very niche. So part of me doing that is let someone understand what I'm teaching, not presume what I'm teaching. And that can be sometimes hard when you do something really niche. But for most of what you're offering, if you understand your message and you have a good brand and you have good marketing, and then you have someone scheduling, it can make a big difference. It's just when you get people that are scheduling something that they don't understand, it can be a problem. Okay, let me see. I don't know how you do this. You're so organized. I don't know if I'm organized. Most people who know me wouldn't say I'm an organized person. And I think that's the reality. I'm not an organized person. So I need these things. I really do need these things. And I think this is really, really important. So please do not misunderstand. Anyone who knows me personally, I'm a really untalented person, right? And I have neurological challenges that make organization actually very challenging for me. Caroline will understand that, because there's some things I just really struggle with. And maybe that is the reason why I have learned to use automation and to start doing these things, because if I didn't, I probably would never be able to do the amount of things that I do in my business. And a lot of people are always surprised, considering my circumstances and I have to have downtime and all that, how I do it. And it is automation, right? most of the things that I'm talking about for use is easy automation. It's not hard. I use more advanced, and that's because I'm running quite a lot, right? And also because I do have a lot of challenges, that means that some things are just sometimes, I mean, and I'm going to be honest, see, even writing emails, sometimes I don't know what it is. I have a block when I write emails, and sometimes it's a certain way people ask questions. I struggle to simplify it. Right, so that's one of the reasons why I've learned to do as much automation, because when you start to keep emailing people back or answer questions where you could have something somewhere that answers all that, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to just show you it to see I don't know now if I can go back to I've got a course running, well, it's like a master program running it in, would you call it, in the, up with the Thursday. If you just hold on a minute, I'm just going to pop it up. Again, sorry, it's on Canva. I usually do my PowerPoints on PowerPoint, but it's just been easier recently, so I'm just going to show you something. Sorry, man. Screen share. Okay. So I'm just going to this is something, by the way, if you can have a look at this, how I've done this. Just quickness, because this is a mini workshop, I've just put this on Canvas. So I'm going to be doing attract soul clients with an automated lead magnet, because a lot of people have been asking me, can I show you how to create a lead magnet sales funnel? How do you do it? What's the right lead magnet? And it is part of my Soul Purpose to Soul Client program, but quite a few people didn't want to do the full program, but they wanted to learn how to create a lead magnet. So I'm running a 2-hour program. It's starting on the 14th of July and the 21st of July. And I'm going to be showing you how to grow your email list, right? And attract more of your soul clients with an automated lead magnet. But it's not just about how just to create a lead magnet. I'm going to be going into the process and a step-by-step process about how to choose the right lead magnet for your audience, right? Because there's a lot of thoughts on what is the right type of lead magnet. Every single one of you are different and unique for a variety of reasons. Your audience is unique. And there is obviously some types of lead magnets that tend to convert better for certain types of audiences. But we're going to be looking at what type of lead magnet that you should be looking at. And not just about the lead magnet, about then the email process, the sales funnel process to get them then, once they're on that lead magnet, the nurturing process, because that's what converts you a lead, which is like, you know, someone who gives you your their email address, to an actual sale. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we have in the UK is the GDPR, which means that a lot of people can sign up for your freebies, but they don't necessarily need to be on your mailing list. And that can, you know, so you want to maximize when someone signs up for your freebies. So this is a course, it's a master course, and most master classes will only be one a month. This one, I've decided it's a premium masterclass, so it is a 2-hour, and I've actually kind of condensed a fast track way of really analysing how to create a long-term lead magnet. And I'm going to show you not just about, so it's about creating an evergreen lead magnet, a lead magnet that can actually work for you for years and keep getting new clients. It's an automated way to grow your business when you sleep, eat, work, or go and do whatever else you need to do. Okay, so I'm just going to share a wee bit about that. It's a step-by-step process, and you'll have a blueprint with it. And the investment today, if any of you's buying, I will be sharing the link with this. I'll be sharing it in the group, and I'll be sharing it, I'll send it out with the recording of this video. It is it'll be worth £197 because I'm sharing lots of different things, but I'm going to show you also how to use the new Zenler platform, which is a free platform to do this, but how to do it in a way that it's branded to you, it looks professional, and it's aligned with your audience, okay? Because this is a really good way to build your email list. And this is the biggest way that I build my email list and get people into my newsletters without me actually having to do lots of physical things. So once I've done something once, I can put that out as a lead magnet. Okay, so if any are interested in that, I will be sharing more about that. So I just want to go back in the group, put to see, and see if there's any more questions about automation. I'll be doing another webinar next week along the lines of, we might talk about MailChimp and things like that. Wait a minute, hold on. Get that many browsers open. Fund with Gratitude posts every week. I have a scheduler for my other business for Facebook posts. Okay, so does that mean that you have someone else that does that for you? So remember, automation is about saving you time in the long term, saving you energy and making you money. Some people, get really caught up. They just look at the cost of, even if it's going to, so say for example, you think, oh no, I would be wanting a schedule that did more, and that's going to cost me £10 a month. They go, well, that's £10 a month. But you think, but people, they're not thinking like a business. In a business, you have to think, you have to look at your time as money. And when you are selling your programs and your products, the whole point that you charge a certain amount of money is to cover all the costs that you need to grow your business. One of the biggest things, even for physical therapists, so I'm going to talk about holistic therapists, which I didn't mean to go into a little bit more, but this might click off. But what I want you to understand, if you're a holistic physical business, there's lots of things you can do in automation. So you can obviously still do your social media. You can have a booking service where people, again, book online for physical therapies and they remind. So it doesn't just apply to online. You can also have a lead magnet that they're on your email list so that you keep them up to date, your latest offerings, the days that you do certain therapies or other things that you have going, right? Also, these can be great ways when you have an automated things like that, you have a newsletter. It is also one of the biggest ways that we can increase our money is actually an email list. That's where we sell, right? And one of the things that I would say at the moment, many holistic and spiritual businesses, particularly spiritual businesses, are really feeling, particularly if they write about certain things and they're, I mean, some people might describe it as woo-woo, right? There's different levels of spiritual, but a lot of them are getting really penalized, and the algorithms and their businesses are really struggling. And that's why you want to always maximize people are visiting your posts. You want to maximize people are visiting your website, and automation can do this for you. And that's why I believe that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the lead magnet course, because I see too many businesses who do not have, they don't either have a lead magnet or they don't have the right lead magnet. And it's not just about creating any lead magnet, it's creating about the right lead magnet for your audience. And it's also about creating the right nurturing process, the right information that goes with the lead magnet that converts them into a sale. Okay, so thank you for those who joined, and I apologize for them that did turn up to live and I didn't get asking questions. Sometimes it's just I want to get through these things because these are supposed to be shorter sessions, and I'm nearly an hour and it was supposed to be. Anyway, take care everyone, and bye for now.